Welcome to Madison, New Jersey, and the planting of the 31st flowering pear tree along Main Street in the East Business District by the Friends of Madison Shade Tree, a volunteer support group. With this project of replacing older deteriorating trees and adding new planting locations, we improve air quality and the appearance along Madison's business entranceway. Today, you will learn about selecting the proper tree species for your location, how to actually plant a bold tree, and the care after planting. Come on, let's go plant a tree.
Balled and Burlapped Tree is a tree that was grown in a field in natural soil, mechanically dug and put into some sort of cage with burlap for transport, for safety, so the tree doesn't get damaged, as this dogwood right here.
What's the string for?
The string keeps the tree tied to its root system, so during transport it doesn't get loose.
Plantings depend very heavily on the kind of seasons you have. And what the United States has done is divided the country up into zones, with a low zone being in the south and higher zones being in the north. We live in zone 6. The zone defines the hardiness of the weather, it defines the length of the summers, it defines the length of the growing season. We chose the Red Spire Calorie pear to plant on Main Street. It's spring and beautiful blooming of the white blossoms is truly an entrance into Madison. In the fall, if you come here, you'll see a very bright red, purplish-like leaf. The Calorie Red Spire pear thrives very well in Zone 6 with our cold winters and our warm summers. When you do select a tree, you need to pick a tree that is robust in an urban environment. Also, growth characteristics that don't shield the business signs, but certainly highlight the business signs. And you have to pick a tree that can fit within a narrow landscape, and also one that will not have a large root structure that would disrupt the sidewalks. Finally, you want one with low maintenance, since we want to be able to maintain these trees and to have them live as long as possible.
So how big does the hole have to be?
The depth of the hole should be the depth of the ball and where it flares off at the top where the trunk is. Your trunk is going to flare right about here. We would like to see the width twice the width of the ball. That's not going to happen where we're planting it, because we're planting it in a small square in a sidewalk. It's a very harsh environment, and we can only go so big.
What do you mean by harsh environment?
If this was planted at your home, it would be planted on your front lawn or your back lawn. Be surrounded by grass and soil. Here, it's going to be planted surrounded by concrete. It's never going to get enough water. It's never going to get enough oxygen. So it's always going to struggle.
So why would they plant a tree in such a harsh environment?
It's a lot nicer looking at a tree rather than looking at all concrete and all blacktop.
Get some dirt, Joe. Ready for the dirt?
We've got our 3-year fertilizer packets already installed at the base of the tree. We'll add nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. We mix cow manure, peat moss in with some good loam. Putting it around the plant, and we're just gonna fill it right now, lightly compact it in, and then water it.
So what are you doing now?
Creating a water basin around the tree, so when it gets watered, it has a little bit of an area to sit and drain into the ground nice and slow. Straight?
Yeah.
So why do you put the stakes in?
The stakes are done to keep the tree nice and straight for the first season or two until its roots take hold and allow it to grow. If it gets windy, people come by, maybe nudge up against it, it's going to keep it from growing crooked.
So why is mulching so important?
Well, mulch is a young tree's best friend. Every year at May Day, as Scouts, we get together and we put about 2 to 4 inches of mulch on the trees. You have to kind of level it out. Sometimes you'll see some trees that have mulch piles that look like volcanoes. They come up like this. They actually suffocate the trees, and the water doesn't get down. So what we have to do, all of the Scouts in town here, come on, help me guys. We got to make like a donut shape around the tree. Look at this. And so the water will collect in this ring, in this donut, and keep the tree nice and cool and moist. And then when we're all done making these wells or donuts around the trees, I know you guys, sometimes you see these little suckers coming out up here.
Yeah.
Then you have to cut those suckers off because the suckers take away from the strength of the tree.
When a tree is newly planted, the Department of Public Works will water the tree as soon as possible to get the water into the root zone so the tree can live. We're given on average of 5 gallons per tree. We have to listen to the weatherman and use the weather.com on the computer so we can get a good radar scan, because if there's a drought, we have to give it a lot more water than what it's supposed to get.
That's a whole lot of water.
Because trees need care after planting, the town's Department of Public Works will be involved in watering the trees. And the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts, along with the May Day Committee, will remove the stakes, remulch, and prune the trees in the years to come.
One of the reasons to plant trees is to prevent soil erosion. In periods of heavy rain, the root system will tend to keep the soil from moving. It beautifies the neighborhood. It's aesthetically pleasing. It gives shade. It pulls in carbon dioxide. It's soundproof. It buffers some of the sound. It screens also traffic and parking lots. It gives you a great deal. And that's why we plant trees every opportunity we can.